Hey everyone, Thom here with Elevated Real Estate Marketing. I get this question a lot, and it's typically asked in a various amount of different ways, which is, when should you give up on a Facebook ad campaign, right? When should you call it quits? When is it just not going well? Well, that's something that takes a lot of time and a lot of data to really figure out. And the good news is that we have a significant amount of data, right? We have ran thousands and thousands of Facebook ads and hundreds of thousands of leads that we've generated from Facebook and Instagram. So we get to see exactly when ad fatigue kicks in and when a campaign just isn't going well. Well, when you are running a campaign, and you're about 2-3 days in and you're really frustrated because, well, you didn't get any leads, and then you start to kind of tweak things around. Well, it's only natural, right, to want to touch the campaign and start to manipulate it a little bit, optimize it to try and get some sort of immediate results. With Facebook, it's a little bit tricky because the first 3 days are ads that are going through what's called a learning phase, right? It's going through the pacing mode in the Facebook ad auction. And what that means, it's a little bit of some internet slang, Facebook slang marketing there for you, some words. So what is pacing and what is the ad auction? The ad auction is what you are entering into when you run a Facebook ad campaign. You're competing against hundreds, if not thousands, of different marketers that are bidding to that audience or a similar audience, and then in certain Facebook placements and Instagram placements. And then pretty soon WhatsApp as well, right? We're gonna start to run some ads in WhatsApp, which is pretty cool. So out of that, you are in a blind auction, right? You don't know what other people are doing in the auction, right? What are they bidding? What types of ads are they running? Is their audience overlap with yours? So you are competing in that auction, and it's going to be one of those things. Well, does your ad do better in Instagram, or does it do better in Facebook Marketplace? Right? And you need time to really figure that out. So as it's going through the pacing mode, which basically is part of how the auction is spending the money, right? Saying, hey, hour by hour, we're scraping off some money from your daily budget and positioning it in the ad auction to try and win a placement in maybe could be Messenger or whatever it might be, and getting in front of those individuals, right? So with that, this is one of those scenarios that it's a little bit of a difficult question to answer, but you need data. You need more people engaged in the campaign to truly see if it's working or not. So historically, it takes about 14 days for ad fatigue to reach. Now, that's been based on an audience size of typically around 80 to 100,000 people. Now, that's only if you're just running one ad, meaning one image or one video to that selected audience. And typically with that, there's gonna be some high frequency, meaning that they're seeing the ad several times. Well, there are different ways to really analyze if a campaign is failing and if it's reached ad fatigue and when to really call it quits. First of all, we need to look at the reach. How many people has the ad reached? And that metric is based on, well, how many people have actually seen the ad in their newsfeed or Instagram or whatever it might be. Not interacted with it, but just saw it, right? The ad was served to those particular people. If the reach is healthy and it's continuing to grow as the ad runs, then that's a good start, right? We know that the campaign is feeding out and it's doing well. Next thing to look at is the click-through rate, right? If our goal of the campaign is to get people to go to a specific landing page or become a lead, we want to see what's the click-through rate. Industry standard is 1% benchmark, right? Typically you want to see a 1% click-through rate on your ads. If you're not seeing that, something's off. The targeting's off, the ad copy is off, the messaging is off, whatever it might be, or you don't have the right ad objective, right? You might be using engagement objective or video views, and then you're measuring click-through rate. It's not the same, right? You need to really use Facebook lead ad or have a traffic ad, right, as the objective to get people to take action and push them forward. So as you start to look at those, you want to see, all right, what is the click-through rate? If the click-through rate is healthy, then if it's above 1%, you're headed in the right direction. And if it is then also doing well in the ad auction and your cost per lead is pretty healthy, then you've got a good campaign so far. But when do you actually call it quits, right? So let's say you're running a campaign and the campaign has been running for 2 weeks now. Now, all of a sudden, things start to stop, right? Leads aren't coming in, your click-through rate starts to suck, right? Some things are just not performing as they should. Do you go ahead and turn it off, right? Do you kill the campaign? Well, odds are that you're probably not using enough of the tools that Facebook has given you. And one of the things that we look at is how can we create a campaign that's going to really move on and live longer than the expected lifespan of the average campaign. Now, what you want to do is make sure that you have multiple ad creatives, right? This is kind of the key formula that you want to use. Multiple different images, multiple different videos, right? Multiple different headlines and text copy. And there's this own methodology called rapid fire testing that you can use to really test out a campaign. Odds are your first campaign out of the gate is not always going to crush it, right? It's not always going to be a winner. A lot of people get really discouraged where well, I ran this ad, I had one image, I had this ad going out to just one audience, and it sucked, right? 2 weeks, nothing happened, no leads, wasted money, and then they call it quits. Well, Facebook is really about data, right? It's kind of a big data machine, and these algorithms are aggregating an enormous amount of data, aggregating what people are doing and finding out what they really like. And if you give Facebook big data to work with, it's going to operate on a higher level, right? It needs that fuel to make better decisions. So what is that fuel? Well, the great starting point here is making sure that the mindset of you going into creating a campaign is you knowing that it's a test. It's an experiment, right? It's never ever going to just crush it right off the bat. So a lot of the time, what we're doing, and we run a lot of different campaigns, is that we are testing multiple different ad creatives to a specific audience, and then multiple audiences. So we find out, okay, which ad creative is the audience really enjoying? Is it the image of the treehouse in the backyard? Is it the front of the home? Is it the living room with the tent, with the mom playing with the daughter, right? What ad image or what ad creative is really getting the most attention? And we measure that typically by click-through rate, right? What's getting the best click-through rate, and then beyond that, what's getting the best amount of leads. So once you understand, okay, we are testing out different ad creatives, and you find that winning combination, boom, you know what ad image to really run with. Then it's about separately testing headlines, right? Making sure that you have different headlines, different call to actions. Typically in a headline, and that's going to be the very bottom of an ad. In a headline, you're telling people to take specific action. You're telling them what the ad is about. You're summarizing what the ad is about, but what they're going to get on the other side if they go through the process. So specifically kind of in lead generation, we want to say, see all the homes you can buy for $0 down, or see how you can sell your house for more than it's worth with these 3 easy steps, whatever it might be. You're going to then run those different headlines to a couple different audiences and then figure out which headline is working the best, right, out of that. So now you have your ad creative, you've got your winning headline, and then you're going to take your body text, right? So your body text is, where you're going to really go into more of the offer, right? And we have our own ad copywriting formula called ADIA: attention, interest, desire, and action. And so using all of those, right, grabbing their attention, and building interest, and then building desire, trying to show them what's on the other side, right? Delivering what they want, and then telling them to take action, right? Click here to see all the list of homes, or click here to download the market report. Whatever it might be, you're telling them to take specific action. So that ad formula is ADIA: attention, interest, desire, and action. So in that, the body text up top, that's where you're typically, right, trying to grab more of their attention and interest, and then build the desire of what's going to be on the other side. Build the anticipation, right? Don't give away the farm, but tell them what they're typically going to be getting if they take the specific action. Now, in that, we're asking a question most of the times, right? Have you seen all of these amazing homes? Or are you thinking of selling in the near future? Or what would you do if you could sell your house for $15,000 over asking, right? Provoke a thought for them to answer, join the conversation in the prospect's mind, in the copy, and you're gonna get better results. So now back to that. So the body text, right? We're typically gonna be testing about maybe 3 or 5 variations of body text, headlines, and then 3 to 5 different variations of the ad imagery, the ad creative. So out of all of those, eventually you're gonna start to find winning combinations out of each. That this ad image works really well with this headline and also with this body text copy. But a lot of people give up way too soon, right? They run an ad and then 30 days later, well, they're gonna call it quits because nothing happened. But you know what? They didn't test. You gotta look at this as an experiment. You're your own scientist and you're trying to figure out what the audience really wants. Well, they might get more traction or a better result if you use a different headline versus that headline. And this is all about split testing, right? So you don't have to go into the nuances of all of that, but Facebook gives you this thing called dynamic creative. And dynamic creative allows you to run a campaign that has basically all of that, the different variations of a headline, of body text, of the ad creative. And over time, you'll find that you're gonna see which audience likes the winning creative. Now, when I say which audience, I'm meaning that you're not testing just one audience, you're testing typically about 3 to 4 different audiences. And this is what you should be doing with a lot of your campaigns. People rely too much just on one audience. And they think, you know what, that audience or the ad campaign didn't do well, right? It just completely was a waste of time, waste of money, and they blame it on Facebook or they blame it on whatever else is going on in their life. They don't really look at the right and proper way to set up a campaign. So when you're running a campaign and you want to really find the winning people, right, the winning audience and the winning ad creative, all of that, highly suggest you use dynamic creative, test that out. It works really, really well. And make sure that you're measuring and testing against typically 3 different audiences, right? So that could be a cold audience, right? Interest-based, that is typically looking at Zillow, Realtor.com, or other interests like that. And then a lookalike audience, which is typically a custom audience of people that have engaged with you in let's say, the past several months, or past leads, or basically a lookalike audience, people that look alike, very similar to your original audience, is what it stands for, of your sphere of influence. And then you might have another one, which is just website page visitors, or anybody that's interacted with your Instagram page. Test out those 3 different audiences. You're going to then see which audience is working the best, right? Does this ad creative and ad copy and headline that we've tested resonate the best with the people from your Instagram audience that visited your Instagram business page? Or is it the lookalike audience? Or is it the cold audience? Which one is it? And you're going to see very clearly, and it's always surprising, which audience is actually engaged, right? Which audience is actually working. Now, when you do this and you do it right and you set up the right campaign structure, your campaigns can go on for a pretty long time and you can actually then get some solid results. So before you start to give up on a campaign after 2 weeks or 30 days, you gotta make sure that you're setting your campaign up for success. You gotta test, you gotta measure, you gotta read the data, and then refine and optimize, right? And that's gonna be the path that is going to really help you unlock that lead faucet that is building your pipeline to generate more business. It's the secret sauce, essentially, right? And we did this by accident a lot when I was just starting early on. And I think probably you might be able to feel the same or understand that you're just throwing things on the wall trying to see what sticks. But you can do that now with some actual data to really measure. Okay, I'm throwing things up, but I'm seeing this is working and this is not. So it's kind of branching and pruning, right? Killing off the campaigns that are doing weak or underperforming, and then giving love and making sure to the campaigns that are doing well, right? Give them a little bit of extra attention and money to make them scale. So when you do that and you find that winning formula, that's when things all just kind of click into place. And that's when the leads flow in, that's when the conversations start, and conversations equals conversions. And then that's when your bank account starts to increase because things are firing on all cylinders. So at any point in time, if you have any questions about this, or if you want us to do it for you, or you want us to teach you the exact steps, step by step, and get actual Facebook Ninja support from our team of experts here at Elevated Real Estate Marketing, go to elevatedrem.com, and that's where you can sign up for our services. We're more than happy to take you on as a new client or part of our coaching program. So we offer both. You can learn from us, or you can have us just do it for you, whatever you want. So elevatedrem.com. If you're interested, go and check us out today. And thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, post them in the comments.